here. We are live at Four Horsemen Studios for the
Money in the Bank show.
I'm Andre Gordon, hashtag chocolate magic, directed by Dre.
I got no follow-up for that. I'm John Roca, at The Roca Says. And we are here. We are ready to talk about SummerSlam. Andre, please, you have the floor.
SummerSlam, man, here live from Los Angeles, California. John,
Yes.
I have to say,
Yes?
I am pleasantly surprised at the full card
It was a good card.
of SummerSlam.
Yes. It was a bunch of good matches.
One of the matches, which we'll get to,
Yeah.
to me was one of the best matches I have seen
Oh, I can't wait to hear you.
ever. One of the best matches
wait to
I've
hear
ever
this.
seen.
Okay. Done.
So let's start from the top. I guess we can
Yes.
start with
What we should talk about,
oh yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes! 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 And then, oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Daniel Bryan won the title at SummerSlam. Clean pin! Clean pin on the Cena. With the bursitis, whatever he's got going on, the torn triceps. Clean pin on Cena. And then Triple H does the pedigree. Orton comes in, cashes in the money back, doesn't even do the RKO.
No.
And then slides over and pins him. Insane.
Now, we've talked a lot about the McMahons and Triple H on TV and,
Yes.
and how that's working out. How did you feel that this now played into with Triple H teaming with Vince to make this happen because it's the best for the people? How did you feel about that?
This is interesting to me because I thought Triple H last night did the first post Vince McMahon era promo ever. To me, the torch was passed last night on Raw. You can tell that promo that Triple H cut is a promo that Vince would cut back in the glory days of in the 90s. And when he said, like, I did what was best for the company, I did what was right for the company, there was legitimate reasoning. He said, I didn't want to be friends with Orton, but I did it for the good of the company. And that is something McMahon would have done. So it's amazing to see that.
Now, a lot of what people are saying reacting to that is that Triple H was long-winded and self-indulgent.
Oh, I don't think so. But he always gets that claim, though.
Yeah.
He always gets that claim because he always makes it about himself and the ego.
Right.
But I think this is a great, interesting situation. It's very reminiscent of the corporation with The Rock.
Yes!
And what they did with Foley. It's very reminiscent.
It's very reminiscent of a bell. I just heard it. So we'll be back with our next segment. This is really, I'm like excited.
Welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. Andre, we're going to continue talking about what happened at SummerSlam in the main event, and we're moving on to the man, the apex predator, Randy Orton, who is now, after cashing in the Money in the Bank, the new WWE champion. Andre, what did you think about this development?
It is no secret that Randy Orton is one of my favorite wrestlers.
That's
has
true.
been for years.
That's true.
This is where he needs to be as a heel.
Yeah.
Okay, so last week, John and I said that Cena would win the title.
Thought we were begrudgingly thought Cena
Begrudgingly.
would win. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we thought that Cena would lose the title to Bryan and Randy Orton would cash in.
Right, because he had RKO'd everybody and then held the case up at the top of the ramp. Yeah.
Now, it turns out 2 weeks ago was right, last week was wrong, but I think that for Randy Orton's sake, for his purposes as a character, this had to happen because as a face, it wasn't really working. It was getting stale, you know?
Right.
And having this deal with the devil with Vince and Triple H, I think it was a perfect. Yeah, and Stephanie. I think it was perfect.
Yes, it was. I agree.
Now, do you think he has to bring the heel, the punt back to be a full heel?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think what's great about him being a heel is that he takes to it so like a duck to water. He's so naturally a heel, and people love him being a heel.
Yes.
People love booing him. They love to hate him, but they respect him, and that's the difference. You know
You are naturally a jerk.
Yeah, which we know from behind the scenes, he actually is kind of a jerk. He has a history of it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it, what his title rating is. Obviously, he's going to fight Bryan again. It'll be interesting if they keep this going until WrestleMania, and they make that where Daniel Bryan wins the title, which brings it full circle.
I think they will. We're back. And, you know, listen, I'm not smiling for why you think I may be smiling. I know John Cena is going to be out 4 to 6 months, but that's not what makes me happy. What makes me happy is that when you lay a challenge down and see, things are just falling. I don't even know why this is here. It's not doing anything.
Right.
What makes me happy is that when you lay a challenge down,
Yeah.
and the other man is so afraid that they take 6 months in sabbatical.
Are you saying that John Cena is using this as an excuse to not fight you in the thumb wrestling match?
He knows that if he thumb wrestled me, I would tear the other tricep off the bone.
I've been training you so hard.
John Roca has instilled the power of Popeye in these thumbs that John Cena has to hide in Serbia to get away from me. John.
Yeah. Let's talk about
What do you think about it?
Well, I think it was time. I think the WWE was looking for an excuse to push Cena out the door for a while because the heat was insane. I was actually at Raw last night. I actually went.
That's right.
And let me tell you something. The term lustily booed could not have been more true than it was last night. I mean,
What was it like? What was the boo
booed
like?
him. It was so loud. It was cavernously loud in there. Like, the boos were insane.
He tried to play it off at
He
first
did,
saying,
he did, but-
like, oh, I'm upset too.
Right, I
but-
almost said what happened to SummerSlam as well. And the crowd was like, oh, no, not this time. And they
Kept
booed him
booing
even
him. I
more.
thought of you.
And every time he said goodbye, that he was leaving, they booed him even more. And I tried to start the na, hey, goodbye chant while I was, and it started to catch on in my section, but then he kept talking about it, so it kind of died down a little bit. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen. It's time for him to go. He'll be on Total Divas, and you know he's going to make his comeback at like the Royal Rumble or something. He'll come in as like the
30th.
30th participant or something. We know that's coming, but it's time. So,
Well, John, Cena,
speaking of time,
I bid you adieu
we got to
for 6 months. I will smile for the next 6 months.
Bye, Cena.
I can't
Bye-bye.
see you. We can't.
You can't
John,
Yes.
I feel really good.
Yeah?
You look really good.
Thank you.
You know, John and I have, some people ask us to plug certain products. This is an actual product that we believe in. USANA Health Sciences, your health, your life, your way, the top-rated nutritional products on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to look great, feel great from the inside out, go to thisishowwedo.usana.com. John, I see you got a shake there.
I do have a shake. I've also been taking the supplements. We're at 7 months now. Supplements, they're fantastic. I cannot recommend them enough. They give you a lot of energy. You recover faster from workouts. I really cannot recommend this enough. And these are great meal replacement shakes that are totally healthy. So I just cannot recommend USANA enough. It's changed my life, and that's not an overstatement. It's not an overstatement. So I would recommend it to anybody out there watching.
I do too, guys. This is how we do it. We'll be back after this.
Greetings, I'm the Professor with your Move of the Week. Assisting me this week from East Brooklyn is T Money, and as always from the island of Tonga, Matt Practice. This week's move is the Figure 4 leg lock. This is a very popular finisher. It was invented by Nature Boy Buddy Rogers and popularized by Nature Boy Ric Flair. It's still used today by The Miz and many others. Jeff Jarrett, as you'll see, T-Money will first spin around the leg, bend it so his legs are actually in a figure 4 position. Then she'll simply just fall back, hook her leg around Matt Practice's ankle. That puts pressure on 7 different positions of his leg. As you can see, as she pushes up on her arms, gives her extra leverage, and I'm surprised Matt lasted as long as he did. You might want to let him go at this point. It could pop a patella. He's got 2 of them. Once again, I'm the Professor, T-Money, and Matt Practice, and that was your Move of the Week.
All right, welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We are moving on to the one topic that was kind of huge last week.
Yeah.
Because of TMZ. Darren Young coming out, one of the primetime players, coming out, being the first wrestler to come out as gay, active wrestler coming out as gay. Andre, this is a huge news.
This is
what do you
huge.
think about this?
I think that he is paving the way for people to come out in wrestling. And see, wrestling is a very different type of sport than NBA and NFL.
Yeah.
You're in basically briefs and
Right.
boots.
Yeah. So
and,
the illusions have always been there through the history of wrestling.
Right.
That what you're doing is considered gay or whatever.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're rolling around the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, on the floor, on the mat.
On the mat.
Or the floor.
Sometimes on the floor,
Yeah.
depending on the match.
Yeah. Or in fire, or in a bed, or on a steel cage, whatever.
Right.
But I think that for him, like what he said in the interview was that he's gotten a lot of support.
Yeah.
Triple H, John Cena,
Yeah.
Titus Young, O'Neil
Titus O'Neil, right? Yes.
came out and
Tag
supported
team
him.
partner. Yeah.
It seems to be not a big deal with all the wrestlers in the back, which is surprising to me.
That's what I wanted to talk about, is because I feel like it's been, to me personally, I love the fact that he came out and it was a general, okay. There was not a big, huge, like, oh my God, get him on all the talk shows, get him on. Everyone was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And I love that as a side that we've progressed to that point where it's not that big of a deal.
Wasn't like
anymore.
the Jason Collins.
Right. The
where
concept
it
was
like
huge. And I think that's what laid the groundwork,
Right.
And I think it can't be understated that these are African American men
I was
that
just
are
thinking
coming
about
out,
that.
which is a culture, you could speak to this more than me, right? That it's a culture that is usually very strong homosexual tendency. So it's just an interesting thing to see that happening consistently across the sports with African American athletes, which I think is great.
And what I think we will find,
Yeah.
and Vince is smart,
Oh yeah.
that he will get a push.
Well, he already did last night.
He got the win.
They made them face last night. The primetime players showed up as face last night against the All Americans or whatever they're called, the Real Americans, and it was great. The crowd reacted well after they won. When Darren
Were there
got
any
the
like
pin.
gay slurs being yelled?
Nothing. I heard nothing. Nothing. And
I wonder what will happen when they go to like Idaho though.
Yeah, we'll see when they go into those kind of
Yeah.
areas in the South. And
Yeah.
this is no different than when black wrestlers back in the 50s and 60s were
Right.
trying to go into southern territories. It's almost like the same thing to see what happens, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens as the story progresses.
Yeah. Big story, great stuff, and we'll be back after this. Millions of dollars. Best match I have ever seen.
Oh, it's time for that. Okay.
The best match I have ever. This is one of the best matches I've seen in the last 15 years.
Wow.
And I've watched wrestling longer than that, but
Right.
really, Punk Lesnar was originally thought to be this mismatched
Yeah.
beast versus the best. And how is Punk really gonna fight Lesnar?
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar legitimately beat the snot out of CM Punk. Those hits were real.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was hitting him with the like it was real.
Yeah.
It was real. And I think that Punk kind of liked it.
Well, it was interesting to see him react to those shots he was taking. I mean, when people say, the term in wrestling is he wrestled stiff, which means he didn't pull the punches quite as hard, as good as he should have, or a fellow wrestler does that. They call it working stiff, which means the blows and the punches are a little harder, and it looked like that's with Lesnar. It always looks like he's working stiff.
It was stiff, man.
Yeah.
It was stiff,
Yeah.
but Punk kept coming back. And the technical wrestling too. You forget that Brock Lesnar
Yeah.
is a master wrestler.
Yeah. Yep.
They were just going at it. The storytelling in this match was it was artistry. I'm not kidding you. This match will be a candidate, mark my words, for match of the year at the Slammies next year. And it'll probably win.
Well, we'll see what happens with how this progresses, because last night Heyman came out and Punk beat up Axel, beat the crap out of Axel, and we'll see what happens. And he wants Heyman, so obviously they're going to keep this thing going for a while, which is great. He needs a little bit of heat if he's not having the belt.
I hope that Axel goes away.
God, please.
We have to go away. We'll be back.
Yeah, at least we'll be back.
Greetings, I'm the Professor, and let's get right to it. In 2003, NWA TNA held their first ever Ultimate X match. Michael Shane ended up winning the title from Chris Sabin and Frank Kazarian. 2010, Albert Del Rio made his wrestling debut on Smackdown. And for the Professor's pick, back in 1999, we saw the debut of the TV show Smackdown. The first episode was taped this week. It has gone on to become the second longest running serialized television show, second only, of course, to Raw.
Welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We are moving on now to talk about Alberto Del Rio, my personal favorite wrestler right now. He took on Christian at SummerSlam. Andre, he won the match.
Yes.
What did you think about the match and the storyline that developed there?
Well, a couple interesting things leading into the match. He got into a fight backstage with
Who did? Alberto?
Alberto got in a
Yes,
fight
okay.
backstage with Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Hence the busted up eye and the hamburger
Right.
meat face. But I think even with that, he was still able to execute a great match.
It was a good match.
It was a really solid match.
Right.
I felt like they put Christian in kind of like as a filler.
Yeah.
And we were wondering when the Rob Van Dam thing was going to happen.
And it happened last
And
night.
it happened last night.
On Raw, yeah. He
Yeah.
came out with Ricardo. Ricardo came out first, and then you're like, oh, who is it going to be? And a bunch of people were murmuring where I was sitting that it was going to be Rey Mysterio.
I thought it was too.
Yeah, right. I'm sure you weren't. I'm sure a bunch of people felt that way, right? Like all of us were thinking that, but it turned out to be RVD.
Yeah.
Which is odd because RVD doesn't really need anybody else to get
doesn't.
over. But I think what they realize is that RVD is not so great on the mic. So Ricardo will be great as kind of to be
Yeah.
on the mic and be playful and introduce him and do this kind of thing and go back and forth with Alberto. So, and if we had go ahead. What do you think about that?
No, well, I think there's also, I heard murmurings that Rey Mysterio will be joining the stable. Like Ricardo will have a stable kind of like Paul Heyman.
That would be great.
Yes.
And if we had enough of a budget, we would put up here a clock that would start and it would say, Ricardo turning on RVD, the clock starts now. Because we know that's going to happen. Like, we know that's going to happen.
Speaking of clock, we got ding
we got
dong,
ding
ding ding. We'll be back after this. I love it. John,
Yeah.
I can't call him Mr. Mustachio anymore.
Yeah, he shaved it.
Yes, and apparently we'll find out why on Smackdown, why he got shaved.
Oh, okay.
Something happened. But that's our little segment intro to Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow,
You're welcome.
who has enough face hair for both of them.
I'm seriously, he has enough to spare.
John,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have this weird feeling
Yes.
that Sandow is not going to be able to cash that Money in the Bank thing in.
Ooh.
I feel like, I told you from the beginning, I don't think he's going to be the world
I
champion.
don't like anything you're saying right now.
I think it's going to be Cody.
Stop it.
I
No!
do. I think Cody's going to fight him for the case. And I think Cody's going to be the one to cash it in. I don't see Damian as the world
No,
champion.
Damian will do it, and I think Cody will be the first person that beats him and takes the championship from him. But I think what all this is happening, because Cody just beat him twice. He beat him on Raw last night, and he beat him
Right.
on the pay-per-view. And in fact, when he beat him on Raw, which is great, I don't know if the camera caught this because I was there. I saw him, he just leans back on the table and he goes, twice. Right?
Yeah.
In Sandow's face.
Yes.
Which I thought was great.
camera caught it, and
Did
it got
they?
him smirking.
Oh,
He
that
was
was
like,
it's great. It'll be great. So it'll be interesting, but you know it's going to lead to them fighting for the case. I just feel like it has to go there. Maybe not of champions. Maybe then maybe a pay-per-view, a couple of pay-per-views down the road. But I just kind of, you have to believe that it's going to happen for the case.
Well,
because
yeah.
Sandow's going to be mad that
Yeah.
he's losing to Cody. So it'll be great to see that
Well,
happen.
Sandow's going to win the next big match.
Right. And what's
Against
great
him.
is this is pushing both of them into the main event
Yeah.
conversation, which is great.
We'll see. I'm telling you, I don't think Sandow's going to win that title.
You might be right. God, I hate it, but you might be right.
It's more of a gimmick. But I'm a gimmick.
What?
I'm not.
You're not a gimmick.
Okay, we'll be back.
We'll be back. All right, welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We are moving on to a program that my partner has issues with. Dolph and Caitlyn versus AJ and Big E. This whole thing with Dolph and Big E and AJ getting thrown in and now Caitlyn. Andre, Dolph won. I think he got the pin. So, your prediction was right about that. Gordon's side. But
Gordon said, look, that's us together.
Like, come on, give it to you. But what do you think about this whole? Like, I know.
I think it's
tell us
terrible.
why. Tell us
It's
why.
terrible.
Okay.
Dolph Ziggler deserves to have a main event push.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler deserves to be in the top by himself, wrestling with AJ and Big E and then the super monster, Cookie Monster, Caitlyn. I feel like it's a total waste
God.
of time.
Stop bashing her. I love her. Stop it.
Well, she loves donuts. I think that Dolph Ziggler should be getting a push. And putting him in a mixed tag team program is a waste.
Yeah, I agree with you. But this is the problem when you have a logjam, which actually is a good problem for the WWE to have, is you have a logjam of potential contenders for the title, for the main title, in both SmackDown and Raw. You know, the World Championship and the WWE Championship. So it's a nice problem for the company to have.
Right.
But for those of us who love Ziggler, and we think it's his time to get over, it's kind of, you know, retarding that process, which is frustrating for us because we really want him to be there.
Or handicapping. Whatever.
Well, no, I'm not saying. No, you can use it that way.
I think
Please,
that
I don't want Sarah Palin coming after me, please. Go ahead.
I think that I think we're done. We got dinged out.
Is that okay? Well, we don't want to say what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen?
I
Is it
think
gonna
that
keep
Dolph
going?
Ziggler is going to break out of this thing
Yeah,
and go off
I think so,
to
too.
face the winner of the Del Rio and RVD program.
Agreed.
Hopefully soon. Maybe a triple threat. We'll see.
I think Del Rio's almost done.
John, we are on to. I know that you pull for this company often.
I do.
You care a little more than I do about them.
They're like the little brother that could. You're like, you see the potential.
Yeah. TNA. Who is
Impact
trying
Wrestling.
so hard, they put a pay-per-view on television for free.
Hardcore Justice, yeah.
Hardcore Justice. John, tell us what you thought about Hardcore Justice.
Well, I thought it was a good lineup of matches. They had a really great ladder match, which I thought was interesting, and a surprise winner in Kaz. I thought Austin Aries was going to win the match, and they had Kaz win it, which was like so strange. Like, why would Kaz win? But you know, whatever. I guess they're trying to give him a push. But Austin Aries got asked to be joined the Main Event Mafia, and he turned them down because. They came out because I think most of us that watch wrestling know this, that Kurt Angle got arrested for another DUI, and he's going into rehab, and he was one of the main guys in the new Main Event Mafia. Dixie Carter comes out, says he's going into rehab, so they have to.
I thought was surprising that they were transparent.
I thought they would make it an injury or make it something, but I guess that's just they know that people are reading the internet, so they're not going to lie to them. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens, who they're going to get to replace, because Austin Aries turned it down. Austin Aries would have been a great choice, but he's kind of a solo brand.
Yes,
so to put him on a group would have killed his whole thing. So it's a smart move for them.
No, the Main Event Mafia to me is now even worse.
You're right, without Angle. It was a good lineup of matches. The ODB match was great. She was great to win that. Tito going against Rampage eventually. They set that up because Tito helped Bully Ray beat Sabin. So so Bully Ray is now the champion again. And there was a conversation with Brooke and all this kind of stuff that went on. And so it was interesting to see what happens. And for me, the guy who came out of all this really well is Bobby Roode, because Bobby Roode's been itching for a push. They gave him a good match against all these guys. So it'll be interesting to see how far they take this.
And we have to go. We're getting dinged, but tune into our channel. We'll be back with another segment, but tune into our channel. We'll have an exclusive of what we heard about Brooke Hogan potentially being fired from TNA.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back after this.
Welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We are moving on to our favorite segment, which we have said numerous times, Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week. Andre, do you have a wrestler for us this week?
I do have a wrestler of the week. My Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week is from We the People.
Oh boy.
Antonio Cesaro. Antonio Cesaro is quite possibly one of the best wrestlers in the entire WWE right now. Purely Matt Technician, one of the best, okay? He's in this faction called the Real Americans, and it's not good.
Yeah.
I think he's better than what they're doing. They're keeping him pushed down.
Agreed.
Break through the glass ceiling, Cesaro.
Agreed.
John, your turn.
Oh, my turn? Okay. We're going to need subtitles for that past one. But yes, I will go on my Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week. I want to admit on this show once again, I have come around on this person, and watching her live last night, AJ. AJ, I'm telling you right now, if you called me up and asked me out, I would go out with you. And I did not think that I would ever find you interesting or attractive. You are amazing. Yes. You have come around, and you've come along so well. And this thing, like, I'll be starch against people, but then when you turn that corner, I am 100% in your corner. And I'm telling you, she pulled a Jennifer Connelly last night. She pulled a Requiem for a Dream last night. She has been so fantastic. She was terrible up until Requiem for a Dream, and all of a sudden, Jennifer Connelly is amazing. Same thing with AJ. Terrible until the heel turn, grabbing the title, and when she did it, she's been amazing ever since. So
and
keep
John,
doing it.
Speaking of your girl, AJ,
Yeah.
the first female wrestler ever to go over 1 million Twitter followers
Look at that!
happened last night.
Including me.
we'll be back. And that's our segment of Glass Ceiling, Wrestler of the Week. So we're back from break, and we're gonna talk about Total Divas on EA. John.
Yes.
Total Divas to me is started off great, then not so great, then got better, then now it's like up and down.
Yeah, well, but it's finding its feet. It's the first season. It's got enough to keep me coming back at least.
Yes,
and I think most of it because the ratings have been consistent.
Yeah.
So I think most people are coming back. I thought last week's episode was funny. It was good. I mean, it had a lot for guys because it was Nikki in lingerie, and for those that like women a little bit huskier, stronger, Natty was in lingerie as well. But it was kind of sad to see Natty trying to. Trying to woo her boyfriend back, who's Tyson Kidd. Yeah, they've been together for 10 years and haven't gotten married. They've been fiancé. Like, I was watching with a friend, and she said, if he's been with you for 10 years and you're not married, he's never marrying you. So who knows if that's going to happen. And then in the show, he tries to take her to the courthouse to be married in the courthouse when she's like, I want like a small wedding, but I want like 150 people there and all this kind of stuff. And she's decorating the wedding. He's like, let's just go do it at the courthouse. And she's like, no. And
I will body slam you.
She storms off and pounds across the pavement. It'll be interesting. And then the other segment was about the Funkadactyls. One of the Funkadactyls wanted to get fake breast implants.
And it came out of the pool.
It came out, right, that whole thing. So it's interesting and it's fun to watch. I don't know how much of it is work, but I mean,
I think that Natalia scares me. And with that, okay, we'll be back.
Welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We're moving on to our producer's favorite segment called The Lightning Round, where our producer throws out subjects and we talk about them for 30 seconds each. Abby, go!
Bray Wyatt versus Kane.
Oh, wait, this was at the pay-per-view. What did you think about this match, Andre? Oh, really? Even with the lantern and the fire? You didn't think it was such a good match?
I'm tired of this whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
over the Wyatts.
It's a mid-card
It's terrible.
with heavyweights.
It's an NXT,
yeah, an NXT thing.
I don't buy it. Poor Kane.
But the Wyatts are over. When I was at Raw last night, as soon as the music went black and the light turned, people love it. So the Wyatts are over.
Do they like the music?
Yeah,
Or do
they like.
Ambrose
I
versus
love the
RVD.
Oh, another pay-per-view match. What?
I think it's good that they did it in the pre-show to kind of like
Yeah.
amp up the pre-show. I'm glad no one lost the title
Right.
or won the title during the pre-show.
Right. And it was a push for RVD. RVD really helped Ambrose get over even more. And
Yeah.
it puts RVD back in the main event picture.
Yeah.
Because now he's going after Del Rio's title. So
Yeah.
It was good to see him fight again. What's our next question?
The Shield.
Oh.
I was just gonna.
Yep. Go ahead.
I even feel like the Shield too. To me, is watering down. They're blowing it.
Yes.
What the heck is wrong with you people?
Well, I think they realize they're blowing it because last night on Raw, they fought twice. I mean, they were handicap matches, but they fought twice.
Still didn't do it for me.
And won both times. And and then now it looks like they're Triple H's henchmen. Which may be why they realize they're blowing the Shield and they are trying to put the Shield in front of the audience as much as possible to try to save it.
I think they need a better feud.
Yeah.
They need a feud.
Absolutely.
The Big Show.
Oh!
He's back.
He is back.
Lost weight, looks better than he has in a while.
Very svelte, yes.
Seemed
for
very
his size.
active.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Big Show coming back versus the Shield and coming back in general at his age?
Well, I think it's great, and to see him coming back with Mark Henry, it'll be interesting if they team up. Because I mean, I don't know what you would call that. You know, the two Towers of Doom. I don't know, the massive men. I don't know what name you give them, but they look great. And what tag team do you think could beat both those hulking beasts?
There's no one.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Oh. Ding, ding, ding. The lightning has struck. We are out of here. Next round. We'll be back after this break. We are back for the last segment of the show.
Aww.
Our favorite. We say that about every segment.
Yeah, well, this is
It's up there.
This is our signature segment.
Signature. The Roka Rant and Direct to You, where we talk directly to a particular superstar or faction in professional wrestling. John, you were at Raw.
Yes.
You, sir, may have the floor.
I want to talk about the tag team champions. Does anyone know who they are? Oh, that's right, it's the Shield. Nobody cares. The tag team championship used to be like the greatest thing you could get as a tag team. Or like you would love to get the tag team championship, and it's dying. It's so dying. I know you've talked about this over and over again. I'm coming to see your point of view on this. Like the tag team champion division needs so much help, and I think you have to take the Shield out of it.
Yes.
Because helping them have the belts means absolutely nothing right now. It really doesn't. And I think the smartest thing is just to give it to somebody else. And there are a bunch of tag teams that are being developed, and you can see that they're working well in the ring. And so they deserve to carry the strap for a while. Enough with the Shield. It's not getting over. Nobody cares. We're done with them. You gave them 2 shots last night, and then another shot after the cameras were done, and the crowd still didn't react. So to me, it's the smartest thing to just get rid of him. So that's my rant. Give it to someone else. Andre, please.
I think that's the best thing I've heard all day.
Thank you.
Besides my alarm clock.
Hey,
To come to the show. My direct to you is directed to the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. Ric Flair has been contacted by the WWE to sign a new contract.
Right.
To join the stable of WWE. Now, apparently they are very upset with Ric Flair.
Yes, they are.
Because he went to the symposium for the WrestleMania 30 video game.
Yeah, WWE2K14.
Yeah. And he was apparently wasted and belligerent.
Yeah, he held the floor for quite some time.
For quite some time. Nature Boy, I know that you've had a really rough past year. You lost your son. Your marriage is, gone. And, sometimes that happens when you drink. I sent him a message actually on Facebook just telling him that he did a lot for me.
Yeah.
I named a production company after the stable,
That's
Four
true.
Horsemen. And that I'm hoping he gets it together because he has the potentiality to be on the same level as Paul Heyman right now as a manager.
As a manager, yeah.
So that's my direct to you, Roker Rant, guys. And that's our show.
That's our show. Just one real quick thing with the WWE2K14. It's interesting. It's 30 years. So that's what this is. It's 30 years of WrestleMania. So all these Hogan's going to be in it. Macho Man's in it. You know who's missing?
Who?
Roddy Piper.
They left him out?
And they interviewed him. Piper said, "If I'm not in the game, it can't really be the full roster of 30 years of WrestleMania, can it?" So it's interesting to see what will happen with that. But
We'll have to get Piper on the show to talk about
oh
it.
my God, we're working on that. Anyway, that's our show.
Yeah, peace out.
Thank you for watching, everybody. We appreciate all the support. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Our new channel.
Follow us on Twitter, please. It's the MITB show on YouTube, and you can find us. And we'll put on, like, we're posting the shows, we're posting behind the scenes stuff, extra content. Please subscribe. It would be great for us.
Yeah, boy.
We love you.